Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So I'm just going to give you a quick update on what's happening because it is taking a while for the bits and pieces to get here. So most things are turned up. We got our turbo, we got our turbo manifold, we've got the intercooler piping, most of the stuff's here. The only things that didn't arrive is the turbo oil feed, so the actual feed line that goes from the back of the oil filter to the turbo, that hasn't turned up yet, and the drain line from the turbo down to the sump. So unfortunately, until we get those, we can't actually get the turbo up and going. So the other issue we've had as well, the wastegate has been sent back to the supplier. I don't know why, but I'm waiting on a refund currently, so I'm going to have to order a new one. It may have been a bit of a blessing. From what I understand reading on the forums, the cheaper Chinese stuff is just a bit risky and it's not worth running it. And to be honest, that's the one thing that's stopping your boost from blooming getting too high. So I'll probably just find one locally that's actually a decent brand. So that's kind of holding us up. The feed lines are holding us up. And the only other thing is I did order a hydraulic handbrake, and for some reason that's been returned to the supplier. Again, it says it's a shipping issue or something, so I've had to reorder one of them. That's not a biggie because I didn't mention it in my build, but it will be going in there. So one other thing, I have ordered an angle kit. So obviously for drifting you want to have good angle coming to the corners. This is just an adapter that goes between the actual hub and the tie rod that comes in, so it just spaces it out a bit more to give you that little bit extra. But in the meantime, we've got a couple of new boxes that turned up, so let's get into opening them up and see what we've got. Sweet guys, so we've got our F-fuel ratio gauge which has turned up. It's an Innovate wideband. So that's just arrived today in the post, so we'll open her up and see what she's like. Always make the box bloody tricky. Got it. So this will make sure our air fuel ratio is correct when we turbo it. Make sure that it's not going to blow the motor or anything silly like that. That's pretty cool. It comes with another dial face as well, so you can actually have a white or a black face. Very cool. There's the gauge itself. And this one should come with a sensor. Yeah, it does. See the sensor in there. So this will be very handy for tuning it, just making sure our air fuel ratios are correct. You obviously got lean and rich in there. And then in here should be the actual sensor. So that's what actually plugs into your exhaust and measures it. But I'll probably have to weld a bung on there to get that to work. I don't know if these guys supply it. I think there's a programming cable possibly. Oh yeah, there it goes. There may even be a bung, like I mentioned. I think that's it there. It looks about right. So yeah, that'll be quite handy for tuning the car up. Stickers, always handy having stickers. So that's good. Right, so we've got another parcel that's turned up. Hopefully that is something for the BMW. Cool, so we got our E46 drift angle adapters, which goes on the end of the tie rods for the steering just to give us that additional angle for drifting. Right guys, so we got two new things this week. Got the cap called Luna, which we recently picked up for the missus, and my fuel pump. So we won't be unboxing the cat or opening that up, but we will open the package here. So this should be a Bosch 044 pump. I did buy it from a genuine place because there's been a few cheap ones going around and supposedly they have plastic internals, which isn't very good. So I got this from New Zealand Performance. Great group of guys to deal with. I ordered this literally 2 PM. The next day it was in my blooming letterbox, so that's excellent service. So we'll split into this and have a check of it. So on the box is a code. Suppose if you enter that on the website, you can actually verify this is genuine. So I will be doing that just to make sure that it is in fact a real one. I've got some fittings ordered for it as well because it doesn't come with factory fittings. So I think I got the barb fittings from memory, because I am going to do AM lines for E85 at some point, but for now the barb fittings will work with just a bit of rubber hose. Right guys, so I'm just on the Bosch website here. We've got the code here, as I said earlier, it's on the box. It's nice and shiny and holographic, so I've entered it into the actual website here. And I'm hoping this is going to work and it's not going to say it's a fake one, because that would be a real shame. Hold up.
A few moments later.
Right guys, so I was being an idiot. I put the 6-digit code in there, it didn't work. I put the code in there properly, well, what I thought was properly, it still didn't work. Turns out it is case sensitive, so it needed to have the actual capitals in there. So once I put the capitals in, it now says congratulations, it's the correct part number. So yeah, my bad. Right guys, so we confirmed the Bosch 044 pump is genuine. That was my mistake. The code I was entering, I was putting in lowercase, and on the website it actually needed to be uppercase. So it was giving me that false code saying it was fake, but it is genuine, so that's good to go. So everyone's probably wondering why I'm running the Mega Squirt. So it came down to a value thing really at the end of the day. I looked at a Link ECU, which the cheapest one was a plug and play, and they were about $1,700. So I've got two cars. I've got a Subaru and I've got a BMW, and I want an ECU that I can run in both, because to buy two separate ECUs would have been too expensive. So I thought, what is out there for cheap that will do all the stuff the big brands are doing that I can fit to both cars? And my intention is to be able to fit this ECU into the car on the day, load up the map for that car and run it. Then the next day, if I want to use the other race car, I can swap it over, put a new map on it and use it for that car. Now, the cheaper wire up options like Link and things like that, they were about $1,700, and they didn't do anything more than 4 cylinders. So I wanted something that could run 6 cylinders or even 8 cylinders in the future if I decided to go LS1 or some other kind of engine system like that. So the Mega Squirt for value was the best option to get. They also got a lot of DIY support with the Mega Squirt, whereas I found like Link and things like that, a lot of times people say, oh, drop it off at an authorised place and get them to install it or wire it up. Whereas the Mega Squirt had a lot more community-based people, which is what I'm really into, installing it myself and learning how it works. I also ordered the Innovate F-Fuel ratio gauge, as you probably saw earlier in one of the unboxing videos. That directly connects up with the Mega Squirt, and you can do the whole auto tuning on it and get it roughly where it needs to be. There's no real replacement for dyno time obviously, so it will need to be dynoed at some point, but as a basic standing point I can install this ECU, put in the F-Fuel ratio gauge and go for a bit of a tune and do a bit of a road tune on it and get it going. So that will also work for my Subaru, which I want to upgrade the turbo and injectors on as well. So that's the whole reason I went for the Mega Squirt. I will be doing a build video on what I purchased, how to install it, and a bit of the tuning side of it as well, because I've never done this before, and for anyone who's new to that kind of stuff, it is a bit tricky working out what to buy. So I'm going to break it down, make it quite simple. So if you're at home wanting to go and install an aftermarket ECU in your car, you don't want to spend a lot, but you want something decent and you want to know how to do it, it'll be a good video to watch. So that'll be coming in the next few episodes. I'm currently waiting on it just to turn up. It got stuck at customs and there's been a lot of delays due to coronavirus, so that'll be an upcoming build video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you like the content, can you please make sure you like, share and subscribe and keep up to date with the build.